And we're here. And we're live. Sorry for the delay, but the fights were on, and we were like, we gotta wait, Damian. We gotta let the people get what they're getting in. As of this moment, we don't know who won. I was like, Damian has a hard out. I was like, we got to get this guy on the air and film something today before he has to go. But thanks for watching, everybody. And what's up, Damian? I see you got a new background behind you. What's going on, dude?
Yeah, man. I've just had exhibit around here pimping out my spare room. This will be the new recording room. I'm not sure on the layout. I was just saying to Zach before. Haven't set the layout yet, but this is what I've got for now. So I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, got the O'Malley jerseys up. I'd love to get them framed and put on the wall, but rentals, man. Strict laws about what you put on walls and don't put on walls, so we'll see what happens. But
can't be trashing that place, dude. You cannot be trashing that thing.
Yeah, not straight up anyway. But yeah, good to get this one in. Obviously, yeah, we were waiting on this card to finish because we know everyone who is watching this right now are the diehard UFC fans, and they would have been watching that event. So we don't want to disrupt the people too much, but it's good to be here.
Yes, sir. All right, let's check the displays. All right, that one works. Let's check these comments, dude. Let's check the chat. What up, chat? Put some stuff in there that we're going to look at. We're going to check that out, and then we're going to jump into some of our topics today. We got some cool topics. We got talking about some Chrome. We're going to be talking about the DDP versus Khamzat news. I'm hyped to talk about that and, speculate on what we think is going to happen. We got a couple of viewer questions. We'll talk about UFC 316 pay-per-view buys and maybe a little more if we have time. We'll see what we can get to. But let's check out the chat, Damian, see what's going down with the people. Matt's like, where are these guys? And he knows. He said they're waiting. Yeah. Khalil, and then we got another one here. This fight talk. Khalil battering Jamal's calf. Yeah, from the what I saw, it looked like Hill was somewhat easily winning that fight. If you're on, Matt can't see us, dude. He can't see us. And you are correct. We were not on. We were waiting. RV and Knack. What's up, dude? Thanks for stopping by, everybody. If you're watching, appreciate you, brother. And what up, dude? Eli, how you doing, man? Out of nine. Back crew member. What's up, dude? Yeah. Before we get too deep into this, Damian, what is our light goal for today? It was like 17 or 18 last time, right?
Yeah, man. Remember? We're cranking up by one. As I said, we're going all the way up to 100, so we're going to go 20.
20, baby. 20 likes. So if you're watching, hit the like, dude. Hit the like. First up, Damian, let's talk about Topps Chrome, man. Let's talk about Topps Chrome, and let's cry at this price tag that I'm seeing right now because we know that it dropped at $189.99. I was pretty hyped. I was like, that is a pretty competitive deal. There's some meat on the bone to be had, buying in at those prices. You get the right auto, you get a good rookie hit. You could potentially be making some money. Now we got 260s, we got 250s, 260s. What do you think the big wholesalers, the big retailers are going to give us? What price do you think we're going to see on 25 Chrome?
I think initially it's going to be probably around these prices. I think 260. I think, UFC boxes are apparently the new Game 7 tickets. We've got scalpers galore out there getting them at 170 and then scalping the prices all the way up, almost $100. You hate to see it, but it's just something that happens, I guess, with, supply versus demand. And I think the demand's going to be there initially when these boxes drop, given the rookie class we keep banging on about every time we get together, Zach. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think they'll start off pretty strong. I think 250, 260 is probably not far off where they're going to be at getting them if you want to be getting them around release time. And then obviously I think they'll drop down somewhere, correcting probably around to 200, hopefully after the first few weeks / month. What were your thoughts?
Sadly, I think you're right, man. I think, or I have to agree with that statement. I do think we're going to be at like 265, 250. I don't think I would be too upset by that because of this rookie class if I hadn't have seen a $189.99 release price. And I had the chance to pre-order that, dude. I was like, should I do it? But I told myself there's a card shop down the road, Lucky 7 card shop, free promo, sponsor your boy. But I was going to go over there to get the hobby box. I was like, I'm not going to pre-order, right? And now I see a $189.99 versus $260, $250. I am going to be pre-ordering every single time now, sadly, just because that we know that's going to be the cheapest price that you could potentially get for your UFC cards, for your hobby boxes. My only issue with that is like before we had the potential, Topps gives you a release price of 170, and then on Steel City, on Dave and Adams, you know, on blowout cards, usually it was $15-$20 more, and you could pre-order from them. But for whatever reason, the pre-orders with these big companies, like, they're still not out. We still do not know the price for those. So it's really kind of a weird flux period. I don't necessarily know if it's a distribution thing with Topps. Like, what are your thoughts on like why the pricing has been so weird, and kind of with royalty as well? Like, do you think they're doing that on purpose? Do you think they're kind of keeping the supply small for us collectors and then giving a ton of product out to breakers? I know that's kind of been a rumor. What are your thoughts?
I think distribution is something that Topps are doing in a different way than what we've seen with cards before. I mean, obviously, I've heard rumors, not rumors, but I think they were even confirmed without quoting directly. But I think Topps have allocated like 60% of new product to breakers straight off the bat. And that is
Right.
obviously a massive chunk that is getting distributed straight to the breakers in order for the products to be opened. And then, you know, you've got LCSs, retail battling over the other 40%, which it isn't enough, to be honest. Especially when we're talking about these new release products that people are trying to get their hands on. They're trying to push people into breaking, that gambling aspect, which most of us, you know, although it's for some people, I think it's a bad way of, you know, sustainable getting into the hobby. But I think that distribution issue of sending it mostly to breakers is going to be hurting. And I'm wondering what the buy-in price is for even your local, you know,
Right.
LCS. What are they getting in that?
Yeah.
Obviously, Topps are listed at 170. Having to pay 170, are they, you know, getting a few cases and it works out to be 150 a box instead, and then they're still putting this, you know, depends what their markup's going to be. I think these bigger retailers, you would imagine, are getting them at a better price because they have, you know, better distribution and also you know, a better customer base. So you would think that someone like Steel City would be getting it at a cheaper price than what your local LCS is. But, you know, who knows?
Yeah, man, who knows? Something I'm interested to see as we go on. I probably will be pre-ordering every single time from now on out, just because it hurts. It hurts knowing that I could have got it, you know, $60, $70 cheaper, and now I'm kind of stuck with where I'm at. But that was a first little part of what's news. Second part of what's news, before we get back to the chat, and we are going to get back to you guys. We got some big news, man. We got some big news this week. We finally get DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev, which is, you know, what I wanted to see. One of the fights that I'm most excited about seeing up and coming. I mean, these two guys are chaos. These two guys are fun. They look for finishes. Is everyone as hyped about this as me? Are you as hyped about this as me, Damian? What are your thoughts?
1000%. As soon as, you know, Khamzat got his last victory, I knew this was a fight to make. And I think Dricus is one of those very underrated champions right now.
Yeah.
Both in the octagon and outside the octagon. You know, he's made his last three opponents cry at the pre-fight conferences, which, you know, he's not going to struggle to do that against Khamzat. But I think he is just entertainment all around, fun style. We get to see Khamzat again after beating Whittaker in an impressible fashion. But this is a massive fight, and this is one of the ones which I've probably been most hyped about all this year, you know, for weight to come out. And this is going to be awesome. I think this is going to be awesome out of the octagon, and it's going to be awesome inside the octagon too. So I'm very excited for this fight.
Yeah, surprisingly good on the mic, dude. Dricus is sneaky, man. He's sneaky funny.
He's good.
He's like real smooth with it too. You can tell he's not really trying. Like, that's just who he is, which I think is really entertaining and is fun to see, like, his personality come out in the press conferences and whatnot. And you mentioned there talking about he's kind of like underrated champion, and let's check out some of his cards, dude, because I was shocked when I saw some of these. Like, you're talking about, you know, of 5 PSA 9 rookie for less than $1,000, man. And like, think of the names he's beaten. He beat Izzy, he beat Sean Strickland. Like, these are
he's
big.
Beat Whittaker. Yeah.
Whittaker, like, these are big boy names. And he's, like we just talked about, he's kind of a fun, entertaining style as well as good on the mic. So I was very surprised that we don't see more hobby love with him. I mean, you got 101s going for, less than $1,000, which is crazy. Another 101 for less than $1,000. And we just saw a Marab sale for like, what would it be? 5 times the price of this right here, which is a true rookie.
Yeah.
So just interesting that his pricing is so low. What are your thoughts, Damian, on why that is? And also people in the chat, is Drickus slept on? Like, what's the deal with him not getting as much love within the hobby?
To be honest, I don't know why this is, because I just don't know if he didn't really carry that name. He wasn't hyped getting to the title. Obviously, he had some fun wins, and he had just had this awkward style, and he's since becoming champion, he's come more into his own, as we were talking about, with those microphone skills, which are super underrated. Some of his one-liners and comebacks, they're some of the best in UFC at the moment, I would say. But I think because he didn't carry that hype getting to the belt, he's sort of one of those champions that are sort of overlooked. But dude, that's why this is so fun with this Khamzat fight, because Khamzat's going to bring the eyes to this fight, and if Drickus gets it done, man. Yeah. I tell you what, I think we see some big markups on some of these Drickus sales, and for good reason. And Resume, as you just was talking about, the guys that he's beaten, if he can get it done over Khamzat now, dude, we're talking about a really, really good middleweight. So
yeah, like Damian, this one's a better example. This was in February of 2025. A PSA 10 gold prism rookie octagon side.
The octagon side, man, they're so beautiful cards.
566. That is crazy to me. So that's nuts. If I wonder if some people have some really big Drickus collections because he is a little bit on the cheaper side, and if they do, and he gets a dub against Khamzat, man, to the moon, and good stuff for you guys for hopping in and believing when you did. All right, let's go back to the chat, and then we can move on here. Let's see, what do we got? We got RV and Knack. Both of your boys are in it. He's referring to 2025 Chrome, man. Charles Air Jourdain, they did it for you, dude. How hyped are you about that, too? I saw his name when I was doing the checklist, and I was like, thank you, Topps, for putting it in there for my boy Damian.
Yeah, man. And he's even got the Chrome on-card rookie autos, which I'm pumped about, too. It just makes me a little bit butthurt that he didn't get back to my my Instagram DM a few months ago when I asked him about if he was getting a rookie card. He clearly was. But
come on, Charles. I saw that.
I'll forgive him. But yeah, no, I'm pretty pumped. And your boy Mick DeBick, he's
in it too, baby.
The run in as well. So we got it done. Topps are watching us. So
yeah, they are watching. Since you said his name, baby. The Catchweight King gets it done again. Subs it again, dude. The Catchweight King, Mick DeBick, with a dub. The Mammoth Slayer, the Neanderthal, my boy, getting it done. Happy to hear and happy to see him.
You might be crossed out now, man. You might be crossed out of that rookie auto.
RV says 319 is going to be wild. Let's see if Drickus can make Khamzat cry, but they are always fun to watch. I agree. Let's see, Matt. The Nazim talk we had on the chat is going to age rather well, Z. I agree, dude. Sadyakov is his last name, right? I forget how you pronounce it, but big finish, and looked to be exciting as well. Maddie Mac to the moon, Z. I think are you talking about Drickus or Mick DeBick? Either way,
Mick.
They're in outer space, dude. They're in outer space, and we're pretty.
Hopefully not on that Star X, one of those Star X.
Oh, bro, yeah. We're not going to get into that, but that was a lot of taxpayer money that exploded rather quickly there. Okay, let's get. We're going to talk about viewer questions, y'all, and in the chat, if you guys have any questions for us to answer in a future episode, please drop that in the chat right now. We're going to be on Damian's channel next time. Go sub to Damian. He's the man, and we'll be over there. This month we'll be live, and we'll also have a normal UFC card collab over there. Let's see, Damian. Let me hit this screen share, and then we can talk about this question here. We got Andrew's Collectibles 87. Well, first of all, if you guys covered any other sport, this would be must watch by the masses. Yeah, baby, gas us up a little bit. So he says, for next time, what time is the best to buy investments /PC? I've been trying 6 weeks past their last fight. Do you guys do anything different? Am I way off? Damian, when is the best time to buy cards for your PC?
Definitely a lot of variables in this question, a lot of things to think about. Did they win? Did they lose? What's their current status in terms of in the division or popularity within the sport? These are all things you need to consider. As I said, the biggest one would be win or loss. So 6 weeks out from, let's say it was a big win, 6 weeks out, I would be waiting a little bit more. You know, we are a little bit fortunate in terms of these athletes, although it does hurt their card pricing because they're not so relevant because there is time between their fights. I'd be giving it more like some of these fighters, as I said, depending on who they are, 3 months, 6 months out every fight. So you've got that 3-6 month window to be picking up their cards. Also depends on the release. You know, is we talk about Topps Chrome. If you've got a favorite athlete, say Sean O'Malley for me, am I going to be buying his Topps Chrome 2025 release week or, within 2 weeks? No, I'm going to be waiting probably 2 months. I'm going to be waiting for the next product to come out before I start even looking at Topps Chrome for Sean O'Malley if there are designs that I want to get. But if we are strictly just talking about in general, I think I'd be giving it closer to 3 months. I think if you're at 3 months date, it's well forgotten about. UFC have pushed on to other pay-per-views, other events, pushing other fighters, and that's probably more time to be getting in. But if we are talking about coming off a loss, which my boy is, then, straight away you can be picking up some very cool cards at good prices, which I have been doing.
Nice. We're going to have a little similar take here. Two options popped into my head. We have one, it's in between fight announcements, which I think is what kind of Andrew's doing right now. I would push that timeline out just a little bit more. Normally we see fighters going basically every 6 months. If they're like really pushing it, it's like 4 months. Very rarely do we ever see people back in there after like 3 months, unless you're like Josh Van or Kevin Hall, and those dudes are wild. But if we know that it's going to be a 4 to 6 month span in between fights, I think 6 weeks, maybe a little bit on the soon side in order to buy. Like we really see, the ebb and flows when it comes to these fighters. They get hyped at fight week. Maybe they have a spectacular finish. They're really high. They're on the moon. And then the seas quiet. The seas get calm and things start to settle down. There's not much talk in the camp. We have no future matchup talks. And I think that's kind of the best time to buy. So I would say maybe like around the 3 month mark is probably a safe spot to buy before we get any chatter about the upcoming matchups and people start to get excited again. And yeah, I completely agree. Buying off losses as well. If it's a PC guy, if it's a person that you are going to collect, whether they win or lose, buying after a loss is probably one of the best things that you could do. So yeah, man, we're pretty much in agreement there, and definitely similar philosophies when it comes to when to buy these cards.
Yeah, man, it's a good one to put out to the people too in the chat right now. Yep. I'm sure all you guys are PCing, current fighters. So what are we all doing in terms of buying our favorite PC guys and girls before fight announcement, after our losses? What are we doing? Let us know.
Yes, sir. All right, let's go back to the chat real quick, and then we'll get to our next viewer question. Hey, if you're watching this right now, I can see how many eyes are watching this, and if you're watching this right now, please hit that thumbs up. We're trying to get to 20. Me and Damian are trying to get to 20, and we appreciate that click right there. All right, let's check. Let's check what we got. Our boy Matty Mac. Our personal disagreement. Matty Mac, I don't know what you're what you're talking about with that. But okay, dude. Okay.
Might be talking about the buy-in. Let us know, Matty Mac. If you've got a different buy-in, let us know.
Chris, please. Chris, please just stick to UFC. He's talking about the Andrews collectibles gassing us up. We're talking about potentially.
I reckon that's what Matty Matt was talking. I reckon Matty was talking about that too, in terms of changing other sports. We're the biggest sport, most international sport in the world, baby.
We're not changing
we've got fans.
We're not changing.
We've got fans all over the world.
Let's see. Matty Mac says DDP versus Khamzat, huge stakes. Match will elevate the winner in a big way.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that, man. It's funny. We saw the Khamzat sale, $30,000, $20,000+. Then we go to Dricus' sales. He's got 101s. He's got gold rookies selling for $500. Like, you have to believe. I guess this is a question for you and for the chat. Is it possible that Dricus wins? Let's say Dricus wins or gets a finish in like a spectacular way. He looks really good, a decision, or he gets like a sub or something or finishes him. Is there a world where his cards don't like 3 or 4x? Is that possible?
They don't 3 or 4x, man. That's a big jump. I'm talking about at least 2x. I reckon.
You think it'll be 2
benchmark? But if it doesn't, if we're talking about like, oh, he gets a 10% bump or something like that, or they stay the same, man,
Yeah,
I
that's
give up on this
crazy.
hobby. I give up on UFC cards in general. But I will want to add this little thing. I've been hanging on to a box 2021 Select Hobby. If Khamzat wins, man, I think I'm gonna have to rip that thing and see what we get, because he's, you know, I think we are going to be getting up some big numbers for Khamzat cards if he wins, which, as you said, is crazy in comparison to what DDP's already done. But that's just how
That's how it
crazy
goes,
this world
man.
is that we live in.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. Some people sell ridiculous. You have one big sale, and then other cards are not. You really. I guess it just takes one buyer to lift all boats. But pretty good there. Let's check out the chat, and then we'll head on to this next question here. MDS, whoop whoop, Zach and Dame. MDS, I don't recognize that name or that screen. Do you?
MDS, I reckon MDS has been in before, and they're going to confirm that.
Well,
they've been in before. Yeah.
Thanks for being here, man. I don't recognize the name, but I really appreciate you watching, and thank you for commenting. Thank you for everybody that likes. We already jumped up to 12, dude, so we're getting close. We're getting close to our goal.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Maddie Max was talking about. Maddie Mac posted some tinfoil hat video about the moon landing, and that was my favorite conspiracy growing up, and I had to have a little discussion with Maddie Mac, just basically arguing about. I think we actually went to the moon, and he had some good points, but that was a funny conversation.
Should we book this in? Let's make this
the agree or disagree.
We'll do a agree or disagree, and we'll make it a 1 hour special, landing special for the card collab.
And we bring our PowerPoints, we bring our data, and we duke it out, agree or disagree.
We bring in special guests.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is in the building. All right, we got House of Cards. Khamzat prices are already pretty built in. It's another good point, though, man. I mean, when you're talking about basically Khamzat's prices, $20K, already he is selling like a person that is, 4, 5, 6-time title defender, all-time great. That's a good point. We talked about DDP. Is it possible that his cards are going to jump, or that they won't jump 2 or 3x by beating a guy like Khamzat? Is it possible that Khamzat doesn't see much of a boost at all? What are your thoughts on that?
Dude, that's a very good point. What House of Card Boys just mentioned, his prices are 1000% baked in, and this is where I'm a little bit new in terms of, because we haven't really seen this work out. Like, it's not like we've had Bo Nickel become champion, where we've had case studies for many UFC stars who didn't have prices already baked in and then became champion. I can't really think of any off the top of the hat, to be honest. Like, as I said, we've had Bo, we've had Paddy, we've had Khamzat, we've had some of these big names with massive sales before they even did anything. So I know it happens all the time in other sports, and that's where it's good to get different opinions and what other people have seen in other sports, whether it be basketball or football, because I know this happens a lot. And then, maybe that athlete does win a championship and nothing happens. I don't know. That's why we haven't really had too many case studies with UFC, but I mean, it's possible, man. As I said, this is a crazy world that we have as our hobby. So,
all right, we got Chris. Shout out Bat Crew. Chris is a Bat Crew member. Australians know the truth about the moon landing, dude. Get out of here, Chris. Get out of here. We made it to the moon. All right. If anybody knows about the moon landing, it's the country that made it there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, man. All right, we got one more before we gotta move on to the next topic. New to the hobby, been loving watching your vids, trying to learn more about the hobby. Fred Betterhead, thanks for watching, dude. We love to talk about this stuff, and check out Damian's channel as well. He's got a ton of information. Try and get like a Matt Golden Octagon, another good source of information. Joe's card stash. He's not making vids anymore, but he's got a lot of good stuff archived as well that you kind of learn about the space and
even our boy Jesus.
Yeah.
UFC Card Fiend making great stuff. You've got Cloudsy as well. There's a lot of good channels, but none better. I'm biased because he's sitting to my left-hand side right now, but none better than Zach. Zach is pumping out some really, really good informative videos and conversations. So yeah, make sure you be scrolling through Zach's videos. One a day, I think you'd be there for a few weeks just learning about UFC cards. I myself will be back to it very soon now that I get this set up. So people can look forward to me rambling on as I used to back in the day.
Well, thanks, brother. I appreciate those kind words. All right, let's get back to this next question. And this was one that I was excited to talk to you, Damian, and the chat about. And Mark V. 3845 question: what is your take on the 2009 eTopps cards? Just bought the whole set and love the fighters. You always hear about round 1, round 2, but not this set, as it seems almost unknown that it was released in between. Love to know your thoughts, as I saw a video of someone claiming it was one of the earliest concept of an NFT. I believe you're talking about Doer. Also, my man Josh at the 047 Sports Cards and TCG made a video about eTopps as well, so you guys check out both of those videos too. Yeah, so Damian, what's your thoughts on the eTopps, man? It's kind of an interesting set.
Yeah, no, definitely. As you said, there is a bit of information out there, which has only sort of recently come out. I didn't even know prior to, I remember Dua talked about them as well, as you said, that they were an electronic first, UFC rendition of a online card that you could then get as redemption. That's why they're all numbered differently. And then that's why I think it makes it cool, because we could only assume that not everyone who had an electronic copy also got the physical copy. So even though the GSP, for example, is numbered to 999, and it's hard to imagine that that number is not at least 30% less in terms of actually print run. But these are the best looking cards. I've got to give it to the design, overall design, vertical design, which we don't really get for at least the round 1. All round 1 were horizontal. We got a few vertical designs in the round 2, but these cards look so good, as we can see here.
Some great images too. Yeah.
Look at that one. I actually want that Hendo one where he's just smashing.
Yeah, dude, that hurt.
Bisping's face into the canvas.
That hurt.
That's
right
awesome. The GSP, probably one of the coolest, GSP lots as well from 2009. Got the rear naked choke there as well for BJ Penn. Yeah, these are awesome looking cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know I'm a set collector, Damian. I like to do that. I think that's fun to kind of chase these different cards. And when I thought of this, I was like, one, I completely agree with you talking about what is the potential actual print run of these. We know what the back of the card says, but I believe you had to like redeem these of sorts, like a redeem. So how many people actually redeemed these? And I think that's both a plus and a con, because we're never going to know the exact number. So to me, that's kind of like, I don't know if I really like that from a long-term like value play, if you're buying these more as like an investment. But what I do really like about these is, one, it's a set, and having these all displayed together, like that pic that we just had up, man, like that would be so nice to have on a wall. And like you said, they're really shiny as well. Another thing that I think is kind of cool about these is like, the shininess of them, the vertical image, like you said, but also that, like, as far as the value goes, it could go the other way. Like but I mean, you can't necessarily prove that either. So I guess it's a catch-22, because you could potentially be getting a deal on these because they are somewhat affordable right now. But at the same time, if the print run is not what we think it is, and instead of 200, it is closer to 999, then like maybe these prices aren't necessarily where they should be. Because if we're looking at one of these of 999 for $50 at a PSA 9,
steal, absolute steal.
I mean, yeah, but what if there is 600 of these just floating around? Do you think that would still be a steal?
I think that card's awesome. And obviously I know they're an eTopps, so they're, a print on demand type thing. So the condition's going to be better than what we've seen with the pack pooled products. But I think the demand for these cards are only going to increase as the years go on. Especially now we're talking about, we should have both bought in and, pump and dump these cards up. But no, I've been looking at these cards for a couple of years now. As I said, the GSP one is definitely a card that I do want to eventually get, but I've noticed the prices haven't really moved at all. If not, they've probably come down a little bit in terms of PSA 10s and PSA 9s. But it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen over the next few years with these cards, because I know I personally just think of design, even of their story in terms of,
Yeah, it is an interesting story, that's for sure.
I think they're very cool. And as you said, if there's only those 8 cards in the set, man, that's a really fun set to chase with some massive former champions. So
Yeah, full disclosure, I did go on eBay and try and find a full set of these that I could buy before coming on the episode, and I couldn't find any full sets together. I did find a guy that had all of these, and I was gonna ask him in the listing. I was like, "Hey, will you sell me these all as a set?" Never got back to me, so I do not own these, but they are super sick. As far as a collecting angle, I was kind of talking about the investment side. As far as collecting goes, this is a sick set, and this is definitely one that I would not mind finishing in the future and putting up on the display wall. All right, Damian, let's get back to the chat, and then we can move on to the next topic. Let's see. I had eTopps GSP that I sold, but kept my Brock UFC 100. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing is you got some big names in here. You got GSP, Anderson Silva, Brock. Like as far as the set list goes, this is a really good checklist too. Also, if you're watching, hit that like. We're at 15 likes. We're trying to get to 20. We're pretty close, so hopefully we can get there by the end of this episode. Oh, the man and the legend's back. Joe's Card Stash.
Hey, Joe.
Best time to buy after the fighter retires. I've been picking up Jalen Turner for a few months now. Joe, if you're still watching, I got that gold tarantula SGC 10, beautiful card. I am looking to sell that. If you want it, let me know. I'll give you a deal on it. I'll probably just message you about that later. Let's see. Michael Perez, you guys.
Sorry. Let's maybe expand a little bit more on that because I know we're seeing with other sports and even fighters like Khabib. I mean, I know Khabib was a little bit of different era in terms of when he retired compared to card pricing in general, but depending on the fighter, man, I think obviously Jalen Turner, he wasn't an ex-champion / legend, but I think if you're looking at getting some of these fighters like Izzy, for example, who's a definite Hall of Famer, going to be a legend in a couple of years' time when he retires. We can see prices increase from there in terms of, once their legacy is set, we can see more appreciation for some of these bigger names. So once again, I would put a variable on saying to get it after they retire. It depends on the fighter because I can see a world where, as I said, another fighter, Islam, for example, I think Islam's prices are going to increase in terms of appreciation for his overall career. Obviously, it's still unfolding at the moment, but I think we can see, that happening as well in terms of his prices increasing after he retires, depending on a few different factors, of course. But, once again, I'd put a variable on that.
Yeah, for sure. If you're talking about a guy that's had a Hall of Fame career, when those type of guys retire, everyone remembers the great moments that they had, right? Like when Izzy retires, I'm going to be thinking about the Costa fight, the Gastelum fight, the Potan fights. Like to me, I completely agree in that if it's a fighter like that, they probably are going to get a little jump. Now, is that going to be a temporary jump and then it comes back down over time? Like I think that definitely could be a factor as well. But it's I would agree in that it's not a catch-all. If it's a person like Jalen Turner that, was a good fighter, kind of had some good success, but didn't necessarily achieve the highest levels or didn't necessarily achieve the potential that other people thought he would achieve, then when they retire, and he's relatively young too, so it's like the speculation was there that, this guy could like really do something serious. He really could do something in the division. And with him retiring, I think that's like the perfect opportunity because his card prices were already somewhat low. And that he can't potentially improve his career anymore, obviously, because he's not going to be fighting anymore. So I agree with your sentiment on some fighters are going to balloon up, and also that guys like Jalen Turner, retirement is a great time to buy. All right, let's get back to Michael Perez was saying, do you think Topps will make announcer cards again? Those inserts held more value than some fighter, especially Buffer. I mean, I guess we saw Buffer in Royalty, and those cards went for bananas numbers, which while we're talking about it, Damian, why are people buying the Royalty autos instead of the Bruce Buffer rookie auto? I don't understand that. Now, I do understand the Octagon worn like suit memorabilia stuff. That is pretty cool. It's the jacket that he wore, even though I know you got the tinfoil hat. You think there was a double jacket. You think there's two jackets out there.
His real jacket's on the moon.
Yeah, his real jacket's on the moon. And we saw it, dude. And us Americans saw that. But, yeah, what are your thoughts on kind of celebrity announcer cards, I guess, and also the Royalty Buffer going for, in some cases more than the rookie auto and rookie cards of Buffer in 2009?
I think to answer the latter question first, in terms of why these royalties instead of his rookies, I think there is still a large portion of people who are coming into the UFC hobby only the past 12 months, 6 months, even probably 2 years. And there's just a lack of knowledge in terms of what products already exist. I mean, we bang on about it because, we've done research and content and things about some of these older products, and we're essentially talking to the community more as well, because we're doing things like this. We're on Instagram. We're having viewers, send us stuff on Instagram. I think there is still a large proportion of people who are in the UFC card community, and they just don't know about 2009, 2010 products, to be completely honest. I mean, that's my theory. If you can make any extra added comments onto that if you like, and then do we get more announcer cards? Listen, I saw Michael Rubin at the UFC 316 event in the stands. I think he was about 2 rows deep behind Dana and Mr. Trump there. So I think this Fanatics push, I think we're only going to see more increase in terms of exposure, not only for products, but also who they're going to reach out to and be doing collaborations with. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see, like, I don't know where Joe Rogan stands on it. Announcer cards, in terms of, who else is there other than Buffer? Referee cards, I don't think anyone's really going to be jumping at those unless they want to be expanding checklists more and making more product, which is not out of the realm as well. And then commentary cards could be cool. I definitely think there's a space for commentary inserts, in terms of, as you said, Rogan.
Yeah, like the voices
DC,
of the Octagon inserts.
Yeah, Cruz, even John Anik and stuff like that. I can see a world where they do some sort of inserts or set for that as well, which, as I said, I think we'll have to wait and see.
Nice. All right, let's get back to the chat a little bit more, and then we'll hop over to our pay-per-view buys segment. Buffer auto, Leaf greater than royalty. So kind of what we were talking about there, about, what would you potentially rather have, something more vintage or something, modern? We got House of Cards saying, after a fighter retires after a disappointing career, you could probably get a deal. I agree with that. I would agree with that. Let's see. Yeah. Data just said John retired last night. Tom is the new champ. Is that breaking news? Matt? I didn't see that online, but I know that John has been releasing some cryptic tweets like, when my head's not in it, blah, blah, blah. This might be it, Damian. We might finally be over this saga. The heavyweight division might finally get to move on a little bit. But if that is true news and breaking news, hopefully we can get a heavyweight type fight with Tom in there. And I still think John is gonna fight into 2026, dude. I think they're gonna do Tom in another heavyweight, and then John's gonna come back from behind the bleachers, from behind the curtain. They're gonna pull it back, and John's gonna put his face through the door, Jack Nicholson, Shining style.
I think they need to assess Jon Jones at this point for too many concussions. I mean, the absolute beating that he got from Gustafsson in the first fight, Thiago Santos, the Dominic Reyes fight, he has taken way too much head damage in some of his more recent years, and I think he needs to be, assessed for concussions and potential brain damage, because that dude makes no sense. And hopefully we can move on from him in the UFC heavyweight division and let Tom,
Matty
our
Mac
boy.
agrees. Matty Mac agrees. Yes, finally, Jones is done. Looks like Matt is saying that it is confirmed, dude. At the press conference, they did it. I guess Jon Jones is officially retired, which I think pretty much everyone is happy that we can finally move on, get some more action in the heavyweight division, and quit talking about all the drama there, dude. All the drama. Let's see. We got one more, and then we'll flip it. Oh, so he's talking about the Buffer auto. Is rookie Buffer a sticker? Yes, I'm pretty sure the 2009 round one is a sticker. All right, let's get back to the next segment, Damian. And we're going to be talking about your boy main eventing UFC 316. We had Sean O'Malley. We had Merab. We had Kayla Harrison fighting Pena. What were you trying to sell, and did you sell it, Damian?
So I had the PSA 10 2021 Green Prism for my boy Sean O'Malley. I talked about why I was selling that on the previous collab that we did. Didn't sell it, obviously disappointing performance, we can say, for Sean O'Malley. And I had only six views on that and one watcher.
That is low.
So as I said, the low numbers. I guess there wasn't a whole heap of hype leading into that event in terms of, Sean trying to do his usual antics on the mic. He was very quiet. He was very reserved, acting very humbly. So I think that didn't sort of get people sort of pumped in terms of, leading into the fight and getting some numbers. And then obviously the fight, the way that it played out, it's no surprise that one didn't sell. So that one will stay on the eBays until, he gets that belt again, which he will.
But
how'd you go?
But Damian, you didn't make the sale, but you did make some buys, right?
Dude, I've been buying.
You did spend some money. He be buying.
I be buying.
And let's check out some of these cards, dude.
Dude, I talked about this in many videos a few times. I didn't know which one to get, and I can happily say I am the owner of not only this gold shimmer to 39 for this Chaos insert for my boy Sean O'Malley. Look at that price. It was as an auction, $23. I can't let it go for cheaper than that. This is pretty much the sediment for these other cards that I bought. I bought the green shimmer in this one too, which I believe is numbered to 74 or 73 or something.
That's the green looks good, man. In hand, you're going to like how that green looks.
I got both of these copies now, and I didn't know which one to buy, but I bought both because, it was financially affordable. So bought this one after the fight, got it at a steal. I was really, really stoked about that one. We got some more.
Oh, yeah. Look at this, dude. Look at this.
Once again, another steal, man. I can't let this card go. This one was up before fight week, and even at before fight week, it was at a really, really affordable price. It was out for like $320 US, which I think is an absolute steal.
This is on card?
This is on card, man.
This is a good-looking card right here.
This is one of 25, man. This is the nicest auto in my collector's opinion of Sean. Everyone's got a different taste, but I believe this is his best autograph, nicest looking autograph. This one I've been looking at a while, man. Even at $320 as a buy it now before the fight week, that was a steal. And anyway, I'm Denard. People know my employment situation at the moment. So I wasn't looking to spend a big dosh, and I bought it. I bought it after the event for $250.
And he's just letting it rip, dude. He's just letting it rip.
Another one, man. This is his nicest rookie card, my favorite rookie card. I already have this in a sapphire,
sick,
which is that's numbered 25. This is the gold number to 75. Dude, I couldn't let this go for $150. I just couldn't. Like this is a $400 card in my opinion. So
nice.
I had to.
You're gonna get this graded? What's your plan with this one?
Yeah, man. This will go to BGS. The auto will go to BGS. The finest ones I'll keep raw and maybe get off to CGC at some point. But this one and the auto, man, they'll be going to BGS to stay in the collection for sure.
Nice, man. Some big O'Malley cards. My tiny Kevin Holland got one view. One view, man. I was like,
off a dub,
dude. Off a good performance. And he's always good on the mic too. And I was like, wow, Kevin, no, I guess it's just a silver. There's too many out there. The print run's too high for the amount of buyers that we have in the UFC space, which is not huge. But I was kind of sad. This is a really clean card. I don't know what to do with it, man. I guess I'll just leave it up on eBay and see what happens. But like, it's not necessarily one that I could send into PSA to try and flip. I don't necessarily think this makes sense with this card, just being that the supply is so high on this. But I was a little bummed. No love for Kevin Holland. Yeah, man, we'll see what happens. But
is you got that free postage or not?
No. I think I am paying shipping on that.
I think free postage makes a big difference in terms of search results, because I'll tell you, I don't know if you remember my Michael Chandler. I had that out, Silver Prism. Nice, clean-looking version too. I had that up for the Paddy fight. Obviously, terrible result for him. But that one sold like a few weeks ago, just randomly. I think, and as I said, I got that at free postage. I was just like, what the hell? Someone's buying this Michael Chandler Silver Prism rookie card right now. But it sold, man, at the asking price. So I think experiment a little bit, try free postage, see if that makes a difference. Maybe that one will move.
Maybe or maybe not. We got Biz saying, plus he was crazy to begin with. Talk about Jon Jones. Josh is in here too. Dana White, Jones retired, Aspinall champion. Won't believe it until Jones says it himself. Dude, it's insane. And we got House of Cardboard. Oh, he's coming for you. If O'Malley never wins again, you can always donate your O'Malley cards to the local clown
Oh
college. Burn.
man.
He burned you, dude.
That's all right, man. I just want to. I was saying this to Matt Golden Octagon. Like, I was bummed about the loss. I really was. But at this point, I just want to see him perform, man. And
Yeah.
I mean, people who watch his content, he was on the Ariel Hawani show. He wants to. He's definitely 100% going to fight again this year. Which, as an O'Malley super fan, that is all I want to hear at this point. And I just want to see him in fun fights.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I mean, he's a good striker, dude. Like, he's gonna have some fun performances from here on out. How old is he? He's not that old, right? He's like,
He's only 30, and
yeah, man.
he wants to go. He's tall too. He's 5'11". He's got good coaching behind him. I think we see him at some point in the featherweight division in a couple of years. He said his next fight's definitely at bantamweight, but he will more eventually move up to featherweight, which I think there could be some fun stuff for him there. See him get some size, get some more muscle on him. Dude, I'm still pumped about his career, and I don't care what anyone says. So,
yeah, no, I think he'll have some fun fights. I mean, he lost to Marab. I mean, Marab he's looked amazing. We saw him beat Umar, who many thought was going to be, the next big thing in that division, and he beat him too. So it's not like he's out here, losing to Cans. Like, and I thought he had a pretty good performance up until he got subbed. So I am still excited to see Sean O'Malley fight in the future. We got Josh back in the chat saying, to me, Jones isn't retired until he says it himself. I completely agree. I also think he's coming back, dude. I don't know. I just feel like that's the most Jon Jones things you could do is retire. Tom has a fight and then come back and become relevant again. We've seen it many times with the getting busted for, getting kicked out for this, getting kicked out for that, coming back. Same thing, being gone 2 or 3 years, trying to bulk up, and then he comes back. So I think while he's retired now, I think we might see him again.
So what is this? Were you saying that this is Dana White doing his promoting job and putting pressure on Jones? Maybe he's trying to pull some leverage here.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know why it's necessarily happening now, but I do think that I don't think this is the last that we've seen of Jon Jones. I don't think he's ready to hang them up completely, in my opinion, right now. Let's see, man. We got Chris. Also, let's get some likes, dude. We're almost there. We got 16 likes. If you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. Now we're trying to get to 20, and we're really close. Chris talking about. This is for you, Damian. I've been thinking about doing some grading with TCG. Have you ever considered grading them?
I've never considered grading them, but once again, it all depends on your collection and what you want to do. If you want to have some cool cards of your collection graded with TCG, just to have them encapsulated, to have a grade to them, have them more protected, go ahead with it. But yeah, if you're looking to do it in terms of value, I haven't been to any Australian card shows that will be coming up in the future, but I'm not sure if TCG as a grading company carry, added value in terms of if you're trying to sell them within Australia. No idea about that. Should look into it. Actually, it could be a fun one to do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, from my point of view, if you are doing it for a value point of view, you've got to go with PSA and a couple of these other companies. But that's just my opinion once again.
Nice. We got Matty Mac throwing shade on the GOAT, dude. Jones is irrelevant now. Come on, Matty. Yeah, he's one of the best to ever fight. Now, do I like what he's doing, stalling the division out? No. Is he irrelevant? Come on, that's a little disingenuous. If Michael Jordan came back today and said, "I'm going to play in an NBA game," the NBA would wheel him out, his old corpse out there, just for the views that it would get. And I feel like the same with Jones. No matter what, people are going to want to see him fight, in my opinion. Him stalling the division, of course, that's silly.
All right, what we're going to do is, Zach, we got a collab coming up this week, which will be out before the next UFC pay-per-view for year 17, which we'll be releasing this week. So we're going to allow a segment. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about Jon Jones. If he has indeed retired, obviously we'll learn more over the next 24 hours, 48 hours after Dana made this announcement. We're going to discuss about Jon Jones, his career, his legacy. So that's
going to be a good one. Yeah, that is going to be a fun one. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Damian, you got to get out of here, right? You said because those fights had to start kind of late. You got your heart out now, right?
I got some little family soccer games to get to, but we can close out the show over the next few minutes, and we appreciate everyone sticking around.
Yep. Thanks everybody who's watching. Thank you everybody who liked this video. We're at 17, so we're close. If you haven't liked, please get that in. We got a couple more comments here, and then we can get out of here. House of Cardboard. Don't grade with TCG. Use tag and just get them authenticated. Grade only with Beckett or PSA. I'm guessing House of Cardboard is looking at that from a value type of play, which I guess you need to ask yourself that, Chris. Like, are you grading these, like Damian was saying, just because you want them encapsulated, just you want them in your collection? If you are looking to sell and move them eventually, yeah, I kind of agree. Maybe not go with the lesser-known grading companies and go with somebody that's going to maybe recoup you the best value depending on what that grade comes back as.
Yep.
And MDF... John's legacy, eye pokes, losing to USADA, hiding under the cage, ducking Tom. That's the only thing he's ever done, Damian. Those are his accolades. And
they're the things that stick to the mind of the
dude.
people, man. MDS is a man of the people, and he's just, highlighting what we all think. So,
yep. All right. Oh, let's talk about this real quick, and then we'll be out of here. Damian, tell the people about this the story behind this card, dude.
Story behind this card, it was out at auction. I've been wanting to get this card for quite some time. Love the image of Nunes on card auto, first autograph, as well as we can see by that lovely badge that Topps are going to bring back because they're watching our videos and they're taking what we say. Number to 149. This is just a banger card. It was out at auction for what I considered to be, once again, too cheap. I had to put a bid on it, and surprisingly, I won it. Super happy. This is a couple of 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago now. So obviously before the fight announcement, this one also will be going off to BGS to get graded. We've got a super fight now between her and Kayla Harrison.
Oh,
which,
man.
if you're not pumped about, you're not a fan of this sport.
Mm-hmm.
But what we do want to maybe talk about is what is the doing with this image of this card here. Someone's taken it on their bed sheet that their Mancoon cat has just rolled around in. In a top loader with tape over the top. Glary photo, terrible imaging. Maybe why I won this card for too cheap, but I was happy with it regardless. And as I said, this is a card that does not come up often. And when it does, there's only a couple more that are a buy now for a couple of grand. So this card is awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree.
To have it in the collection.
MDS saying fantastic eye appeal, and you're dead on, dude. This is a cool instance where this is like probably one of her most important cards, being that it's her first auto, and also one of her like best looking cards. It's just insane. On card, first auto badge. She looks crazy. She's got like the old school like fight gear on, with the brands and the logos. So I'm happy you got this one. And what a great time, like, to buy this right before she's basically having a super fight with Kayla Harrison and coming back. It is pretty incredible timing too.
It is, but it's scary too. It's not like I'm looking to be selling this card during that fight or whatever. I'm going to be holding on to it regardless, but it's at the same time, it's good time, but it's also scary timing because her legacy was set. I mean, it's undeniable she's the best women's fighter we have ever seen. Right. Kayla Harrison could win the next couple of... Like, Kayla Harrison's not young either. Kayla Harrison's probably got a couple more fights in her as champion. But Nunes comes back, risking that legacy. Although it's exciting, it's also, a little bit hairy at the same time. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I completely agree. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you for enjoying the show. Be sure to go check out Damian's channel and keep on the lookout. We're going to be having our normal UFC card collab up next week before the pay-per-view, and it'll be a live over on his channel. So stay tuned for that, and see y'all next time.
Yep. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, people. See you next one.